dad's dream to talk about his favorite team with the son of digging the stats. Come and join us, nerding on the Dbacks.
Hello, welcome to Nerding on the Dbacks,
The one
and only
father-son baseball show
in America.
Yeah, they don't have that in Iran.
He ran.
I did run. Yeah. We're just gonna.
Nah, you didn't run.
We're just gonna. Nope, I can't run.
No.
I still can't run. I mean, here's the thing. Doctor said I could run. It's a matter of pain tolerance. But let me tell you something.
You kind of look like a pirate when you run.
He's not wrong, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I absolutely do. I look goofy as hell when I try to run. It's pretty ridiculous. I hobble. I don't really run.
No.
Even in the pool, it kind of hurts when I run. It sucks. So yeah, like you said, we are Nerdy on the Dbacks. I'm Dad, aka Chris, and this is
Son, aka Phoenix.
That's right. My amazing, illustrious, and much more charming and charismatic co-host. I'm the brains. He's the charm. That's the way it works around here. So, we're not doing today. We're going to be doing our baseball show that is sweeping America, or at least the baseball fandom in America, and it's called
Did You Really Just Say That?
That's right. Yeah. Ooh. So, our first contestant today is Phoenix. Come on down.
Thank you.
You'll be facing off against Chris. Come on down. All right. So anyway, generally on our shows, when we do our weekly wrap up, we like to do more of a big picture. There are other podcasts or shows out there that do game by game recaps, essentially, or series by series recaps. And rather than that, we just want to look at the bigger picture. But once a week, we take a break from doing that kind of heavy lifting, and we just enjoy ourselves and make some predictions that are sure to inevitably go wrong.
A lot of them go wrong.
So,
and speaking of wrong, I got. Let's start off with me.
Yeah. So we always start off by recapping things that we say came off the board, and that's just predictions that we made that had their essentially their end date come, or the prediction either obviously passed and wasn't completed. So we'll start with Phoenix. Like you said, he was going to jump into it. What did you have come off the board this week, Phoenix? And how did it go?
It went not very good. So I got two wrong. I said for the June 12th game, which we went to, it was very fun. We went with some of our friends, and I said that there would be 3 up and 3 down, which means that there would be three batters that come up, and then they all go back to the dugout.
Right. They'd get 3 outs in the first 3 batters.
Yes.
It could have been as much as a walk, runner on first and second. Next batter, it bounces into a triple play, and that's 3 up and 3 down. So that's all it takes. Yeah.
Yes, but it was very anticlimactic because the first pitch got smashed into right field, and so.
And then it went downhill. For those who are wondering, That was the Slade-Ciccone game. 7 runs and 3 in the 3rd innings. I think he ended up giving up. Not a good outing.
It's a national tragedy.
Yeah, it wasn't a National League tragedy anyway. Yeah. So all right. Well, and better luck next time. And what was next time?
D-backs will win June 6th through 9th series versus Padres. They did not.
No, I just want to say that's a big prediction. I think we actually had that one slotted as a home run because winning 3 out of 4 against a team, like when you play a 4-game series against a team, it's really hard to win 3 games. I don't know this, but I bet a quick Google check would find that in 4-game series, the 2 teams split the series probably 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time even. It's very, very unusual that that one team wins. So I love that you made the prediction that they would win the series. And, well, they basically never had a chance.
Yeah.
But it's been nuts. Like, and I only say that because so many of the D-backs games over the last, like, 2 to 3 weeks, pretty much all of the month of June, all of the games have been really, not all of the games, but a huge portion of the games, a majority of the games have had huge differences in the winning team has won by 4 or more runs of a large majority of the time. Kind of crazy. It's unusual to see that, but I've also kind of been paying attention a little bit more to baseball as a whole, and it seems like that is the way that baseball is going, that once you kind of get the end of bullpens, the guys that are coming in when you are behind, not just, obviously it's the D-backs are at a huge difference of quality of reliever that they bring into the game when the D-backs are ahead or tied or trailing by 1 run versus the quality of reliever that they bring in when they're trailing by 2 or more runs. And just the amount of, it's almost impossible for most teams. Most teams just seem like, unless they're only trailing by a run, maybe 2, it's really unusual that games go back and forth much anymore. They're just, and it's smart of teams. Like, I don't begrudge them at all. But what I mean is every one of these games was pretty much a blowout that the Padres and D-backs played. And so, that's why I say it was never really close, because when the D-backs lost their second game and they were down, I think they lost the second game, or not the second game. They lost the second and third game in the series. And I think the third game they lost 13-1 or something along those lines. It was pretty rough. So they were down big early, and it was pretty obvious that the D-backs were not going to win that series.
Yeah.
But they came back and won on Sunday to split it.
What did you have come off the board?
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay, I'm done. Yep. I had nothing come off the board. I couldn't believe that. I had like 7 things come off the board when we did this last week. It was nuts. And I had nothing this week.
You should have made a prediction that I'm going to have nothing come off the board.
Yeah, but that's a prediction I could control the outcome of. That's not a fun prediction.
Yeah, but then, like, technically you made the prediction. So then it's on the board. And then it's like, it's like one of those paradoxes.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, it's very meta. I like it. Paradox. That's a good word. Impressive, Phoenix.
I watch a lot of TikTok. All right.
So yeah, let's go into our stat lines. Where are we sitting at now after the past week, Phoenix?
All right, we got Dad/Chris. His batting average is 444.
That's right. You make it sound so big. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 444 average.
Yep. And he has 3 doubles and 1 home run.
That's right. That's what I'm bringing to the table. And what about you, son?
Me/son, 286 batting average. I have 2 doubles and 2 home runs.
Yes. So both of us have had very sparse success, very few hits as the season has gone on. Yeah. I remember this was up around like 7. We were both up around like 800 2 weeks into the season, and now we're just crashing down to earth. So let's get this one started here. Phoenix, you kick us off.
All right,
with your predictions.
I'll kick us off. All right. So Christian Walker has been smashing the baseball recently. He has 16 home runs, and it's not even halfway into the season. So Christian Walker will have 30 home runs at the end of the regular season.
Woo!
Did he really?
He really said that?
Yes.
Yes, he did. So
I really
think
said that.
I'm giving this a double because, like you just said, he's not even halfway through the season yet. I don't know if you're in agreement with me, but a double because we're not halfway through the season. That said, if he gets injured, even for just like 15 for 2 weeks at any point this season, that becomes kind of unlikely. But as long as he stays healthy, I think he's got a good chance of doing this. But man, injuries can pop up anytime.
Yeah.
So that said, Walker has stayed relatively healthy. I like this prediction. I give it a double. Sound good? All right.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, he's actually been on a tear. You know what's crazy about Christian Walker is he,
Is
by
bald.
Fangraphs WAR, if you will, he has he is the third best first baseman in Major League Baseball, and it is a big gap between number 3 and number 4. The problem is he is the third best first baseman in the National League, and there's a big gap between him and number 2 and number 1.
Who's number 2?
Let's see. We got, I believe, Freddie Freeman is number 2 for the Dodgers. And then number 1 is Bryce Harper for the Phillies. And so, yeah. And Harper, legitimately, he's a better hitter than Walker, which is not like disparaging Walker in any way. Harper is one of the 10 best hitters of the last decade, probably.
He's on
in
our
Major
cover.
League Baseball. Yeah.
He's on a cover of the show.
Yep. And Sports Illustrated many times. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, I think, when he was 15 years old or 16 years old or something.
But that's
crazy.
just because he had anger issues.
No, he was just he was just really good. He's probably the best prep, most highly rated prep player of all time. Prep meaning high school player of all time in the United States. And so
I just remember the anger issues.
no. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so moving on. Bryce Harper, though, yeah. And so it's frustrating because he's obviously the third best first baseman. He's going to get paid big time in this offseason. The D-backs, I can't imagine the D-backs keeping
Cha-ching.
Walker. Yeah, Walker is probably getting himself he's a little older, but he's probably getting himself a $25 million a year contract, and I just don't see how the D-backs are going to be able to match that when they still have Jordan Montgomery likely on the hook next year, as well as they signed the Eduardo Rodriguez deal, and Corbin Carroll starts to escalate a little bit, not a lot, but just have a lot of money out there already towards the 2025 season, and Walker would be awesome to bring back. At the same time, the D-backs have a couple of guys just absolutely raking right now in AA and AAA that are future first basemen, and I don't see the impetus to sign Christian Walker when you've got Dbacks and De Los Santos. I hope I am saying his name correctly. Just absolutely shredding it in AAA, so much so that he got called out, I believe, on Rates and Barrels, I think it was this past week, as one of the 12 best hitters in the minors to add to your dynasty teams. Because, yeah, he's going to be a stud. So anyway, that's enough Christian Walker talk. I just wanted to bring that up, that he's been on a tear, and he's fantastic. And he may not even though he's the third best first baseman in all of Major League Baseball, he may not even be at the All-Star game because he's stuck behind the first and second best first baseman in his league.
Freddie.
That's right, Freddie. 5 nights. So my first prediction is Jake McCarthy gets traded before the July 30th trade deadline.
Did you really just say that?
Yep, I did. And so I know a lot of fans really love Jake McCarthy. I love Jake McCarthy. Jake McCarthy's awesome. And that's why the most value he can have to this team is by being a trade piece, because he's too good to be essentially a 4th/5th outfielder, which is what he becomes once Alek Thomas returns. We've gone through this before, but you've got basically versus, he's not going to play against left-handed pitchers. He might, but you're not going to sit Krichik, and you're not going to sit Gurriel against lefties. Against righties, you might sit Gurriel once in a while, but you're not going to sit Alec Thomas and you're not going to sit Corbin Carroll. So, I mean, Jake's going to get what? Maybe 2 starts a week, maybe. And that's because you're trying to get him in the lineup and probably forcing him into the lineup in spots where it doesn't benefit him the best. And so I really think, rather than having a really good outfielder sitting on the bench for 5 days a week, why not trade him and maybe get one more relief pitcher, maybe find a good left-handed hitting infielder.
I thought you would want a right-handed hitting because we have a bunch of left-handing.
We don't. Outfielders, yes, but that's why I say a left-handed hitting infielder. Someone to take third base.
Hold on. He bats left hand?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like pitching.
No. I mean, or a left-handed relief pitcher, another lefty relief pitcher. I thought you were talking
about like somebody who can smash lefties.
Yeah, I think you could probably go to some team that has like the Phillies. I know this has already been talked about, but the Phillies are a great example of a team. Or the Mariners, two examples of teams that could really use an outfielder. Someone who could play center field potentially, and have excess relief pitcher arms right now that they would probably trade one of their relief pitchers to get Jake McCarthy. And so you got the Phillies, you got the Mariners, both in that camp. There are probably others if you go through and look at the teams that are vying for a playoff spot. So I think you could make this happen, or like I said, get a left-handed hitting infielder somewhere to stick at third base to platoon with Blaze. I'm starting to cool on the idea that Gino's ever going to turn this season around. So I got my doubts. He's done it almost every season of his career, but he's just dug such a hole at this point. I don't even think that he can get himself back to being an average hitter at this point. And the swing, his bat cast metrics just don't look very good either. And so just kind of makes it unlikely. So that's my prediction. Jake McCarthy gets traded. Oh, plus Pavin Smith, if you only need to play a guy once a week, Pavin Smith is a great outfielder. Or you don't even have to carry an outfielder. Just carry another left-handed hitting infielder on the roster to get in there and take some swings against right-handed pitching and help this team out in one of their greatest weaknesses, which is, rotation depth obviously is a problem, but the rotation is not a problem if they're relatively healthy. Bullpen depth, but even that may not really be a problem once they're healthy there as well, though it's pitching, so who knows? They may never get healthy. And then finally, hitting against right-handed pitching. The two places that they don't need help with is defense. Their defense is pretty good, and hitting left-handed pitching. Their hitting against left-handed pitching is fantastic. And as we discussed last week, their pitching in high and medium leverage situations in the bullpen is great. That's why I say it's just bullpen depth. Their top 5 guys are absolutely fantastic pitchers, every one of them. And there's no need to replace that. We just need someone who can keep us in a game that we get down by a couple of runs early to come in the 4th, 5th, 6th inning and hold that lead, or hold that deficit to 2 or 3 runs.
You've been talking about how once the Dbacks, once the other team gets the lead, it's kind of just a lost cause.
Yeah,
from there.
Yeah, they're a bottom 3 team by pretty much every pitching metric when they're in low leverage, which means that they're behind basically, and they're a top 5 bullpen by just about every metric when they are in high and medium leverage situations, which is they're up by a little bit. They're up by a few runs, 3, 4 runs, 5 runs. Or they're within, or it's a 1-run game, basically 1 run or tied. So they're very good in those situations, which goes back to their Fab 5 out of the bullpen are great. They could use more depth there, and they could obviously, everybody needs pitching, so it's always hard to swing a trade for pitching. But I think McCarthy, because he's young enough and he's got 4 seasons of control left after this one. He's not a free agent until 25, 26, 27, after the 28th season, I think, after 2028. So you get a lot of years out of Jake McCarthy and his prime years. So I think he's a really great trade piece to throw out there, and he's superfluous for this roster, the way that it's constructed right now. Jock Peterson particularly made him pretty unnecessary.
Yeah. All right. So I said Dbacks will get back to 500 by end of June. So
I love this.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I give this a home run.
Yeah.
Because they got a tough schedule coming up, and to finish off the month. But I think they can do it. I do think they can do it. And if they do, happy days, because they'll probably be in second place in the NL West, and because I think they play the Padres. I don't remember. I know they play the Padres again before the All-Star break. I don't remember if it's before the end of the month or not. Maybe it's not. But yeah, I think this is great. I'd love to see it done. They can do it. They're good enough. They're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like them.
Okay.
All right. So my second prediction is Eduardo Rodriguez will return from the IL to pitch a game for the D-backs before Merrill Kelly does. And so I see a lot of D-backs fans either talking or on Twitter, X, and commenting basically that they expect Kelly to be back first. But Rodriguez is ahead of Kelly in his rehab. He's throwing from 105 feet already, while Kelly is only throwing at 75. Reports are that both are being brought along slowly. Fantasy baseball sites are pegging Erod with an all-star break return, while estimates on Kelly are around August 1st. And so I'm going to take the estimates of the people whose accuracy gets them paid over the estimates of people whose accuracy often causes themselves to be disappointed and frustrated.
Calling them out there.
No, there's no calling out. I just think all the reports point towards Rodriguez coming back first. And so the one difference is, the one thing that you could point at that maybe would put Kelly back before Rodriguez is because Kelly already pitched this season, they may not put him through as long of a rehab as what Rodriguez is going to go through, because Rodriguez is almost certainly going to get 5 starts. Like, I would be surprised if he doesn't get 5 minor league starts. He's probably going to start pitching here. I believe he's going through another MRI, and if everything looks clean on that, he's going to throw his first bullpen, and then he's going to throw a second bullpen, and then they're probably going to have him start going on a rehab assignment. And he could be on a rehab assignment by by June 21st, 22nd here. He could be his first start.
Wow,
in the minors. Yeah, just a few days away. Before the end of the week anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if Rodriguez is already pitching rehab games, whereas Kelly is quite a ways off from that. That said, Kelly, because he already pitched this season, even though he may not need as many rehab starts, which could put them back around the same time. So it's going to be close, but I still think Rodriguez is going to be the first one to return.
All right. All right.
That's right.
All right. So.
Okay. Go.
Interrupting me. All right. So. I say this like every. Did you really just say this?
Yeah. You've got to have one. You've got to have one prediction that includes our favorite player.
Lourdes Gurriel
That's him.
Jr.
Woo!
He probably doesn't know one thing about us, but I'm going to predict that Lourdes Gurriel gets at least one hit every game of the National Series.
Did you really just say that?
Yeah, you
I
did.
did.
Yeah,
I
think this is a great prediction. I'm going to say this is a home run, because having 3 games in a row against the same team with a hit is tough. I said Gurriel's been on a bit of a streak. I don't know if he's already got a hot streak going right now, but he just sat on Sunday. He didn't play, which means that he's almost certainly going to play all 3 games of the Nationals series. And I think you got a good shot at this, like as good of a shot as any has a hit in every game of the series prediction kind of goes.
Yeah, I believe in him.
Plus, he's certainly a batting average guy. He's not much of a walks guy. He doesn't like taking a lot of pitches. He likes getting up there and swinging that lumber, which is what makes him so fun. So very cool. All right. My third and final prediction this week is Ketel Marte will win the National League MVP.
That's right. I just said that.
Yeah, that's right. I said that. So Mookie Betts, this is the reason I'm bringing this up is because in case you haven't heard, Mookie Betts, who is heavily favored to win the award heading into play this past weekend, was hit by a pitch and it broke his hand. Yes. Yeah. So there's no timetable set by the Dodgers, except for stating that they don't believe Betts will miss the rest of the regular season because of this injury. That doesn't sound great. That sounds like he's probably going to be out for at least a couple of months. So I hate to see a guy get injured. I just want to say that, especially a guy who has the reputation of being such a great person and is a 300 bowler. True story.
Even the guys you hate, you're like, oh no.
I know. Anytime Phoenix is sitting with me, and anytime someone gets hurt, there are the exception of a couple of guys, and I'm actually going to talk about one of those guys in this as I go down this. That I probably wouldn't say, "Oh no, I can't." That sucks that he just got hurt, but that's we'll stick on Mookie Betts. But as Phoenix said, pretty much anytime anyone gets hurt, I'm like, oh no, I hate seeing guys get hurt.
Yeah, that's why you hate soccer.
I guess, is that a thing that happens in soccer a lot?
Oh my God. I don't want to call out the soccer people, but they usually they use this one video. This guy uses the other person's hand and smacks himself in the face with the other hand, and then he's laying on the floor. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for now. But
okay. So
if you look into it,
so the injury probably takes Betts out of the running for NL MVP. That pretty much leaves Ketel Marte right now. If the season ended today, and you take Betts out of the picture, Ketel Marte is number 1 in Baseball Reference WAR, and he's number 2 in Fangraphs WAR. Floor. Yeah. Floor. So essentially that leaves Bryce Harper, Willie Adames, and Jurickson Profar as his main competition. He's trailing. Those 3 guys are trailing today. They're all trailing Ketel Marte in both WAR systems. And the one guy who is ahead of him in Fangraphs WAR is Shohei Ohtani. But Shohei Ohtani is a DH. I kind of disregard the 2 DHs that are pretty high in WAR, and that's because voters didn't give the MVP to Ohtani a couple of years ago over Aaron Judge. When Ohtani was an elite level hitter and an elite level pitcher, I can't imagine them giving him the award when he's only an elite level hitter because he's not pitching this year. Even though he does lead Ketel Marte right now in Fangraphs WAR, I just don't think that they'd give it to him. And I don't think there's any level of production that could get Marcell Ozuna the award. I don't really want to talk about it, but let's just say if you want to Google it on your own, you can, or take my word for it that he doesn't seem like a very good person, and no sports writer wants to put MLB in that spotlight due to dredging up his behavior off the field. It's so bad that it could possibly be career suicide as a writer of the BBWA to even give him a down ballot vote.
I'm just going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
Sounds really
he's
bad.
one of the guys that I would have no like feelings of sadness if I saw him get hurt on the baseball field.
What did he do?
And also to go further down the Otani and Ozuna DH line of thinking, historically, no player who is primarily a DH has ever won the MVP award. Never. It's never happened. A DH has never won the MVP award. And so I just don't think they're going to, like I said, Otani, with the season that he's having this year, would have been the first guy I would have said could have ever done it. But they wouldn't even give it to him over Judge when Judge was a couple of years ago when, like I said, I just don't expect that to happen. So right now, I think it's Marte's to lose. I do think it's going to be incredibly difficult for him to hold on to that. It's not like he's up big in any of the WAR systems, and he's kind of got Bryce Harper and the Bryce Harper train coming on strong right behind him.
Yeah, it's also if he gets injured.
Yeah, if he misses any time, and if you've been a Dbacks fan for longer than one season, you probably know. If you are a pre-2023 Dbacks fan, I should say, you probably know Ketel's injury history is not one to bank on him staying on the field for another full season. It's pretty riddled with IL stints, and so including a couple of really long ones. So I hope he does it. I want to make an argument that this should be a home run just because he's leading it right now. We've got more than a half a season to go. Bryce Harper, I do think Bryce Harper is a huge impediment because Bryce Harper is going to have far and away best hitter on his team, name, star power, and probably the Phillies will finish with the best record in the National League. And so It's going to be really hard. Like if Bryce Harper and Ketel Marte are within like half a win from the WAR calculations, I think there's a really good chance they just give it to Harper instead of Marte, just because of the reasoning I laid out. Unless the Diamondbacks can come back and Marte stays healthy, stays playing awesome, and the D-backs win the NL West. It's the only way I think that they can claim Marte will still get the MVP if Harper continues to rock it. So,
all right.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's our show. Tell us what we got right, what we got wrong. I'm going to do something different this week, and we're going to post all these predictions out on X, each of them individually, and see what people think. So, so get in on it with us. If you're not following us already, Nerding on the D-backs is our Twitter handle. You can find it in the notes, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening to us / watching us on Spotify. And also, please remember to
share and channel your inner kindergartner and
like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, you always say that first.
Sorry. Like, comment, subscribe. Also, channel your inner kindergartner and
share.
That's how we do it. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I threw it off there. My bad.
Yeah.
I got to set it up better.
Foul ball.
Foul ball. I mean, it was a foul ball, but with 2 strikes. So I've got another shot at it, and I had a bleeder just go through the infield to get me onto first base, but it was mostly because you let me know what pitch was coming next in the on-deck circle. Yeah. And I still barely made contact. So speaking of which, did you hear about Marte? So on the game on Sunday, Marte and Maldonado, they had Vieiro. I can't pronounce his name correctly. He balked with Maldonado at second on purpose to get Maldonado over to third base. And he said it was because Maldonado had signaled to the batter the previous 9 pitches correctly as to what they were going to be. He was picking up on everything.
How?
He's a So Martin Maldonado is well regarded. He's not a very good player from a statistical standpoint, but he's really well regarded for just thoroughly knowing the game. He's a catcher. He's been the worst hitter in baseball for pretty much the last decade. And
because they have those like things on their knees. Like you can't, they're not giving signs anymore.
Nope. But it's just from him reading the scouting reports and knowing exactly what they were going to throw.
Wow, that's awesome.
It is awesome. It's a really impressive trait. Think about having that ability to, like, he knows the game and he reads the scouting report so well that he can call that out before it even happens, and he still can't hit the ball. not consistently. It's crazy. Yeah. So I thought that was a really neat thing. I just wanted to drop that. It was a good move by Torrey. You can't have the ball. You can't have a guy at second calling out pitches like that. And there's no way for him to know, except for he just did his homework. There was nothing that the D-backs were doing wrong in that situation. And there's another podcast that I absolutely love, Effectively Wild. They actually probably about once a season talk about intentional balks and getting guys moved over from second to third for various reasons. And a lot of times it is because the guy at second is stealing signs, and it's almost always considered a good move. And so I know there's this subset of fans that think that was a really bad idea, but I will tell you from a game theory standpoint, the best managers in baseball do that stuff constantly. It's a really, really smart, high-level move by a manager. So very cool.
All right.
With that, thank you for watching all the way through to the end. And
bye. Happy Father's Day. Especially to this father.
Oh, yeah. Did you? Oh, it's all the way over there. Never mind. We'll just post it up on the page. All right. Bye.